supplies, mother. This video is going to be all about my drawing supplies, also known as my drawing equipment. Every now and then I get a message asking about what pen I use or what sort of paper I use, etc, etc. So this one is for all of you. But as you can see, the background looks a little bit barren, empty. So let's do something about that first. But before that, I need to transform. Yes, now we're ready. Let's fill the bookshelf, shall we? Hello. The main reason I decided to lump these topics together, my manga collection and my supplies, is because I believe that they are firmly interlinked. I'm a firm believer in if you want to create, especially comic books, but whatever you want to create, if you want to create, you must first consume. I don't mean that you have to obsessively collect, but go to the library or browse the internet, just consume as much as you can. And another skill that you will gain is consuming with an intent. Very important. Of utmost importance. When I read these mangas, I've read them multiple times, and each time I read, I take my time and analyze what I'm seeing and why things are the way they are, why the author decided to do them the way they did, and each time I read, I learn something completely new. For example, my old friend Dragon Ball there, I've read multiple times, and of course I'm familiar with the story, but there's always something new I learn as my analyzing skills develop, and I have internalized the previous knowledge I acquired on the previous read through. The next time I read, I will definitely see things that I did not or even could not see before. To summarize, to each and every one of you creatives out there, to create, thy shall consume. Start with the consuming. You might be asking, where on earth did I acquire such a beautiful shelf? And I made it myself with these little hands. I did indeed. And I also built that small shelf to hold keys and stuff as well. And also that thing up there. You can see it's a monitor stand, but the varnish is still drying, so I hid it up there. I built this and I am very proud of it. Now let's fill it. Now, when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of Donald Duck comics, as did everyone my age or older in Finland. They were very popular, and are to some extent until this day. This is taking way too long, so I'll just film it and show you the end result. I'll just time-lapse it. Go! Since we didn't have smartphones or anything, every time I would eat or take a powder my nose, I would read Donald Duck comics. That was a big part of my childhood sort of comic book world. I dabbled in some other stuff as well, but from manga I remember specifically reading a lot of Detective Conan. Case Closed, I think it's called as well. I didn't own a single issue, I don't think, but I remember going to the library, borrowing a bunch of those books and consuming them like a maniac. I loved them. I don't really remember any other manga I was enthusiastic about, but that Conan comic I do remember. Then, as a teenager, I read Walking Dead comics, and I really loved it. But then I didn't really care for comics for a little while, until perhaps 2018, my childhood best friend donated his full set of these Dragon Ball manga volumes. The full set of 42 volumes. And those Dragon Ball volumes changed everything. From there on, I became obsessed, and that was sort of the catalyst to my collection and my passion for manga. At some point after that, I realized that I really want to draw manga. For a long time, I wanted to draw manga, but I really didn't know how. So I just kept on doing it until I figured things out, basically. It has become dark outside. Now let me show you one by one my collections. Before you start dissing me for not having your favorite mangas or for not having read any of your favorite mangas, hear me out. All of the volumes I have and pretty much all of the manga I have read is in Finnish. I have restricted myself to collecting only Finnish manga in the Finnish language, curated by the translators and the Finnish publishers. So yes, I do not have Berserk or JoJo's or Fist of the North Star or any of that. None of that is in Finnish yet. One last personal thing I could add is that I have quite a lot of stories in my head. Aki Aki Farm was my first proper comic book that I made, 30-page one-shot. I wanted to learn the technical side of making comics, all the paneling and stuff, and how to draw action and stuff. That's why if you have read this, it's available online for free. The story is not very complicated, one might say, but I learned a lot of the creation process itself from making this. And as you might know, hopefully you know, currently I am creating over 200-page one-shot called Cloud Catchers. This is my first proper comic book, I would say, where the focus is much more on the story. It's full of everything I love in the comic books that I have read myself. I have worked on it for 1.5 years and loved pretty much every moment of it. I cannot wait to publish it, to give my labor of love to you. My plans for after Cloud Catchers are of course open to change, but I do have clear plans. First of all, my goal is to become a full-time comic book artist. Not just artist, but creator. I want to write my own stories, create them, draw them, and make it into a job. It's a long distance away, but I am slowly working towards it. Now my grander goal would be to create a sustainable comic book industry for Finland, where Finnish comic books could relish like never before. For the actual plans after Cloud Catchers, I plan on making a couple short stories. I think all of them will be in a similar genre as Cloud Catchers, meaning there's gonna be a bunch of comedy and action and all of that stuff. But after that, I will divert on a long mission for a more fantastical story. While doing Cloud Catchers, I've been developing another story that will be grand and complex in its twists and world building and stuff. And that's the big project that I will be working on next. My current plans are to release it chapter by chapter online, and as chapters accumulate, I will publish the volumes physically. Always my goal is to publish physically, because I love collecting them and I want to spread that joy. After that one, I will probably be doing one-shots again, and my final ambition is doing this battle shonen sort of story. All of my skills that I'm currently developing, I'm doing it so that one day I can draw this grand battle shonen story I have in my head. It will take me absolutely multiple years to have got to the point where that is the next step. But creation-wise, that's the ultimate goal I have. That's gonna be my magnum opus. But I just wanted to let you know that even though Cloud Catchers is coming to an end and I'm gonna be publishing it, it's definitely not the end. Quite the opposite. It's just the beginning of fantastical and hopefully long journey of creating comic books. Anyways, Cloudcatcher's launching on Kickstarter very soon. And now for this and now for the second part of the video, the actual drawing supplies that people have been asking about. As obvious, these are my current supplies that I have used for the entirety of Cloudcatchers, and my tools and materials are prone to change, but at the moment this is what I work with. Let's start with the paper. The paper that I work with is multi-copy A4 paper. It's thick 160 GSM A4 paper. The paper is very smooth, good enough. It took some getting used to, but at the moment I feel like I can draw with the G pen and the inks very well. The ink has basically never leaked through the paper. The reasons why I use this is because it's cheap and it's what's available. If I had money and it was available, I would use B4 manuscript manga papers, but I do not have that here. So this is the next best thing. Would recommend it if you're planning to go through a lot of paper, although it takes some getting used to, and of course it's not perfect, but good enough. I feel like that's my motto. Good enough is good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Next paper I use is Fabriano Bristol board. I use this every time I'm painting or planning on painting something. So in all of my painting videos, this is the paper that I use. If I'm doing something more than the inks, this is what I use. Obviously this is a superior quality paper, but it's also a lot more expensive. Whereas the multi-copies, multiple hundreds or under 10 bucks, this one is 20 pieces only for like 10 bucks. I did do my first comic book, Aki Aki Farm, completely on this paper. It is a very good beginner paper, I feel like, because it's a good quality. Once you get used to drawing and G-pen and all of that, you get to the flow, then you can start to experiment a little with cheaper supplies and whatever works best for you. And again, the brand, this is just what's available here, so I have no affiliation or particular affection with the Fabriano brand. This is just what I have. I used to use Unishift 0.5 pen for a long time, but I have since changed into this Staedtler pencil. It is Staedtler 925-2505. It's a full metal pen, I like it. It's got nice weight and nice balance to it. Not much to say about it. This gummy little bit, I don't know what it's called. It's supposed to be more ergonomic, but I don't really know if I even use it. Staedtler eraser, very basic, nothing special here, just a white eraser, erases well. I use 0.52B leads. Very soft and easy to erase and snaps easily, so it forces me to be a little more light-handed. I am usually very heavy-handed in my drawings. The other eraser I have is this Tombow Mono Zero pen-like eraser. It's very good for erasing small details. I love it. Then for the inking things, I use Nikko G-pen. In Cloudcatchers, I use pretty much only the G-pen, but in my future projects, I will be using Marupen mapping pen as well. Probably Nikko brand as well, since once again, that's what's available for me. The nib holder itself, the pen itself, is just some no-name thing from a local art shop. I buy the G-pen nibs in boxes of 10. They come in either these clear plastic boxes or these cardboard boxes. But I always order a lot at once. One G-pen nib lasts about 3 to 5 pages, I would guess. I have no idea how long they're supposed to last, and I have tried googling it, but I can't really find any answer, so I would love to know what other people's experiences are. How often do you change the nib? How often do professional mangakas, for example, change the nib? That's why I have so many of them, because I go through them quite quickly. Ink. I use Yasutomo Black Sumi ink. It's waterproof. This is very good to paint over with. I love it. It's extremely black and goes down very well. I've not changed this at any point. I'm so glad we have it available here. And I ink the panel borders with Micron Pigmas 05s. I go through a lot of these. When I mess up, my inking, I do the fixing with white Posca markers. I love these 0.7mm bullet nibs. I go through quite a lot of these as well. They dry pretty quickly, and unless there's a huge mound of ink, you can ink over them fairly well. I've experimented with some whiteouts, and I have found Poscas to be better than what I have tried, at least. A very standard ruler with centimeters and inches on the other side and a raised edge. I went over the functions of the ruler in my previous video about how I actually draw a page. So if you want to learn magical functions of rulers, go and check out that video. I also have a curved ruler that I use occasionally, but not very often. For cleanup, toilet paper. I always have a pack of wet wipes ready to go, because after a long day of inking, I always wipe the G-pen with wipes and then dry it with toilet paper. I do love the fact that this has a closable plastic lid on it. They won't dry up at all. I use these watercolors. They come in a set of tubes. It's just some no-name thing. Sang. I get it from Clas Ohlson here, just a store. This whole set is like $10 or something. I just use them because of their extremely affordable price. I find them very good, and I love the mix of colors here. I bought this from like AliExpress or Temu or something. Just a small palette. I put those colors there. I don't do that much coloring or elaborate pieces, I suppose, so this is just enough for me. It's a very handy little box. Then I have a small spray bottle to moisten the watercolors. Tape as well. When I'm painting, I use 2 jars, just some old salsa jars or something, for water. One for cleaner water and one for dirtier water. And I have 2 brushes, shaped like this. The greener one I use for watercolors, and the other one I use for inking. The shape is very important. I don't find any reason to use any other shape of a brush other than something like this, because I can get very small detail with the pointy edge, or I can fill in color very widely by using the flat side. I absolutely love this shape of a brush. I also have this light board that I use quite often. If you're planning on making a series, if you're planning on drawing a comic book, I think you might come to a situation at some point where you would love to have a light board. And I would definitely recommend getting one, just in case. I use it like once a month, I would say. The microphone I am using is Rode NT1A complete set I bought years and years ago. I shall show you my setup now, so you get a better idea of the space I am working in. Now, here is my setup. It's a regular adjustable desk from IKEA and a chair from IKEA as well. This is the folder where I put all the completed pages of my comic. When I'm working, I always have the folder open right here, so I can easily access it and easily refer to other pages. As you can see, I also have a Kuyon drawing monitor here, but I really do not like drawing digital. My drawing space is a lot bigger now that the shelf is finished and the monitor stand is finished, so it's not nearly as cluttered as before. I just put these 3 stacks of paper right here. I used to have them on top of the printer, but now they are here. On the bottom one, I have regular unmarked paper. On the middle one, I have paper with the guidelines printed in. And on the third one, I have the thumbnail sketches, the storyboards for cloud captures, or the project I am currently working on. Speaking of scanner, printer, Epson ET2726. Just got it cheap, second hand from someone. This is what I scan all of my stuff with. Fairly decent quality scanning. I have this toolbox that holds all of my pens and all of the materials. I also have this phone stand attached right here. This is where I do all of my filming with. And the phone I'm filming with is my beautiful girlfriend's old iPhone 10. As you can see, I'm using OBS to record, and I do all the editing with DaVinci Resolve. And for any digital touch-ups and speech bubbles, for example, on the comic books itself, I use Clip Studio Paint. And here is my pile of rubber dust that I always collect. I don't know who would find this sort of video interesting, but people just keep asking these things, so I decided to make a video about it. If you have any comments about my collections or about my setup or any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask. If you're gonna recommend a manga series that's not translated in Finnish, please hesitate to do so. I wish they would translate more stuff, but on the other hand, I don't have that much money. So, anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this tour of my world. And bye bye!
Like and subscribe!